Yeah.
All right, happy Monday. It's Coffee with Coach time. We're here with head dog, Coach Milholen. And, Coach, we started conference play the other night and obviously went to Ozark. And, man, it started out great. We know we had some turnovers. But even in that tough loss, talk about some positives that you've seen from your squad on Friday night.
Well, positives for sure offensively were the last game and a half prior to that, we hadn't really tried to throw the ball. We threw the ball pretty well Friday night. I think we ended up with over 160 yards passing, and Jake had another big touchdown catch on the screen and ran for 18 or 20 yards after he caught it and scored. But we worked on a lot of different things. Because, hats off to Ozark. They came out and they were prepared for our heavy stuff that we had showed against Muldrow. It's basically always showed against Muldrow. And
they had a good heavy dose of it last year, too.
And they got a really good heavy dose of it last year, and they really didn't stop it. But, we got behind the chains a couple times doing it with not getting that 3 to 4 yards we were wanting. We only got a yard, or they stopped us at the LOS. And and they were clicking on offense. And and people out there don't know, when you're running a heavy style offense like that, which it's the same offense we run when we're in the gun, or when we're in spread, but same run plays and stuff. But when you get behind the chains, or 2 scores behind, or 3 scores, whatever it is, you really can't stay in that and be sustainable for a comeback. But some positive things, we ran some pretty good routes. I was real pleased with Eli, how he managed the game. He didn't force the ball. If it wasn't there, he threw it away. And he was able to step up in a pocket a few times and kind of get on the move and make a good throw. But real pleased with us, and we never. I'm not going to say Ozark ever really stopped us, because we would find a way to shoot our foot off.
Sure did. So what would you think? So it's, in your words, it's not as, sometimes it seems obvious when you're watching it as a fan, but when you're a coach, you watch it from a different filter. I always say, well, I see things on the field that she's like, why are you looking at that? I said, just because I've always looked there.
Right.
So what do you think the team struggled with the most Friday night? Do you feel like it was execution? Was it the energy? Was it something else? Just mistakes?
I don't know. I think a lot of it was to do with the first drive. Right. We come out and boom, we're down there at the 10. Yeah. And then we're so juiced up and ready to go that we're moving forward before we catch a snap, and it hits us, it goes through our hands, and boom, turnover. And turnovers did not help us. I think we ended up losing 4 fumbles, which and most people know. If you lose that turnover margin, it's not going to be easy. But
they need a quick score, especially right after.
Oh yeah, and on that they did like they either called a shot player, they pulled some misdirection or trickery out of their hat and got us on that after a turnover. But overall, just performance. It was, I don't know, when they jumped out pretty quick, we didn't have the same fight I felt like we had against Muldrow. Right. And maybe that's because of, some people were out last week that were in at Muldrow, and end of the day, they were a better ball club than we were. Yeah. And they beat us, and we shot our feet off several times, not with penalties this time, but with turning the ball over. And
it's been it's an 0-4 start. It's a tough start to the season. Played a pretty tough schedule. So how are you keeping your players focused and motivated? The record's not there, and too many people look at records, and I get it. Mm-hmm. But there's positives in everything, and you've said that, and I know the kids have seen that. So what are you doing to keeping those players motivated right now? We hadn't even talked about who's coming to town this Friday night. We got Dartnell, number 1 team in the state.
We got Dartnell.
In some rankings, some number 2, but it doesn't really matter.
No.
So talk about that, because that's a whole challenge in itself with teenagers.
Yes. The biggest thing that we're focusing on is continuing to work hard, and our kids are busting their tail, and control what we can control and work on getting better.
Right.
And have those small victories in the fact, before we went into Muldrow, the game plan was, hey, we're going to run it down the throat. And we did.
Yeah.
But we had mistakes that hurt us. And, and that was the small victory in that game was, I said, let's rush for 350 tonight. I said, and we rushed for almost 360. So, I mean, that was a win.
Yeah.
Now, our kids felt like, we should have won that game. But, at the same time, going into Ozark, I said, control what we control. Let's play to the whistle. Let's do what we can do. And they're gonna give us our screen game, and they did. And for the most part, we executed it a couple times. We get tripped or Eli's under duress. It was there, and we were able to run it. And we ran some stuff and that we practiced during the week that we hadn't ran since back in the summer. But the kids knew it because we had ran it all summer, and we were able to pull some stuff out that hadn't been on film yet. And the kids executed it, and then we would find a way to. I hate to keep using that term, but we would find a way to mess it up, by fumbling the ball or getting a penalty at the wrong time. Yeah.
What should people know about the work that these guys are putting in behind the scenes? I mean, you're practicing. It's not like you're
it's not
just
like
giving up. Like we're showing
absolutely.
up and we're preparing our kids and you're working them. So, what would people want to know at home?
That's from it's easy to see that and you hate to use it as an example, but what just happened with Arkansas.
Yeah.
They're still practicing.
Yeah.
They're still busting their tail. But at the end of the day, we're still working on what we can control. We're still trying to get better at what we do. And the biggest thing that we're preaching to our kids is we got a tough stretch. But on the backside of that tough stretch is where we can really go to work and really have those chances to do something that we hadn't done here in a long time.
Yeah. And it's all still there, and
it's all still there. And
get through
in Dardanelle, you alluded to them. They're a great club. Coach Vega's got a really good group of kiddos right now. And his quarterback is being number one, and being one of his better kiddos that he's already committed to Air Force to play quarterback at Air Force. That's Division I. He's
that's big time.
He's a heck of an athlete, and they got a handful of kids that they can get the ball to, and right now they're riding high. They've played a really tough schedule like we had, and they've beaten Elkins, who Mercy rolled them last year, and they've beaten Nashville, who beat Arkadelphia Friday night, and but there's still opportunities to take advantage of stuff that they do,
Right.
and that's what we're going to work on this week. And
it's going to be the hardest part going into a matchup like we're going into this week at home. Got the leftovers from last week on our mind, and how do you fix those things? So we know they're going to work, and we know we're going to have community support. We're going to be out there ready to go. And even with junior high taking a trip to Dardanelle, junior high had a tough couple weeks, and so they got to bounce back.
But even in both of those junior high games you're alluding to, we stopped ourselves.
Yeah.
We fumble against Lamar on the 1 inch line, going in to score for would have been the winning score.
Yeah.
And and then against Ozark last Thursday night, we have a situation where we forget to play.
Yeah.
And we get behind the chains on that, and then never all this stuff is fixable, and it's what we're working on to fix it. But we've got a really good chance this week in both 7th grade and junior high and in senior high. I mean, it's a Friday night. Any given Friday night, anything can happen.
And your hope is that they think less of us,
and they overlook us,
coming to us,
and say, it's Walden's row and 4. Let's overlook them. Let's look who's next. And I promise you, we're not overlooking anybody, and we're working our tails off for anybody we're going to play. And like I say, there's going to be a lot of positives coming out of last Friday night's game. There's going to be some negatives that we've already addressed with the kids, and there'll be some positive this Friday night too. There's some stuff that they're going to do that we're going to be able to take advantage of, but we're going to compete.
That's what we can do.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to
show up, compete, and have a little pride wearing that uniform.
That's right.
And I think that's what they'll do. So Thursday night we'll be traveling to Dardanelle. We'll bring you the live stream there from Sand Lizard Town on that new turf they just put in.
Yeah.
And then Bulldogs will be facing off against Dardanelle on Friday night. Coach, one last question. What excites you the most? Taking the driver out of the golf bag or sitting in a tree stand? It's that
I
time
don't
of the year.
know. I don't know. The last couple of times I've played, the driver needed to stay in the bag.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it is getting close to that time of year, and you know, I won't get to do any hunting until I hope mid to later November.
Yeah.
But that being said, you know, we've already got the cameras out, and there's a few on the camera that would be pretty excited to be set.
I thought that's what you'd say. But, I just wanted to check, see where your royalties stood. But anyways, mine's clearly with the golf game because I can't. Yeah, I don't hunt. So, anyways, well, let's go. We have a good week ahead of us, and be paying attention to Sports Hub later today, and we'll be announcing.